Let's talk sustainable beauty. You've sent over all these articles about innovative and sustainable packaging that's happening in the beauty world, and it
Yeah,
seems like the industry is finally catching up with your passion.
it is.
We are talking about a sector that generates a staggering 120 billion
Wow.
packaging units annually.
Yeah.
That's
Billion
a
that's
of
it.
B.
It's a jungle out there.
Yeah.
And for once, I'm not talking about a rainforest. You're right, this isn't a fad anymore.
Right.
Sustainable beauty is quickly becoming less of a niche and more of an expectation, I think, for consumers these days. And what's really exciting is how brands are stepping up to the challenge.
Yeah.
And some of these innovations are truly revolutionary.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We've got everything from beer byproducts being turned into packaging to completely naked beauty products. What stands out to you as the most impactful shift?
I think it's fascinating to see how this goes beyond just basic recycling.
Or
We're talking upcycling and utilizing completely unexpected materials in incredibly creative ways.
yeah.
That example you mentioned about beer byproducts,
Yeah.
that's from a patent filed by Fenkel Corporation,
Okay.
which is a Japanese cosmetics company just last year.
Wow.
They're taking leftover yeast from the brewing process and turning it into cosmetic containers.
That's pretty amazing. What are the benefits of using these unusual materials?
Sure.
Is it just about reducing waste, or are there other advantages?
It's multifaceted.
Okay.
Firstly, using byproducts like spent yeast reduces waste,
Right.
which is a huge plus.
Yeah.
But it also often means a lower reliance on traditional plastics,
Right.
which has a significant impact on a product's carbon footprint.
Huge.
And you have to admit there's a certain wow factor to it.
Yeah.
This kind of innovation captures attention
Absolutely.
and sparks a conversation.
Totally.
It makes sustainability interesting and even desirable,
Yeah.
which is crucial for wider adoption.
Absolutely. It's like you're getting a cool science project with your moisturizer. But like any new technology, I imagine there are challenges to consider as well, right?
Of course, scalability is a major hurdle.
Right.
While using beer byproducts for packaging sounds incredible,
Right.
replicating this process on a mass scale to meet the demands of a global industry is a huge undertaking.
Wow.
Then there's the issue of consumer perception.
Yeah.
Will everyone be on board with, say, a yeast-based container? There's a psychological aspect to how we view packaging,
Yeah.
especially in the beauty industry where aesthetics reign supreme.
Totally. It's like,
Yeah.
will people prioritize a sustainable package even if it doesn't look as sleek or luxurious as they're used to? It's interesting to think about.
For sure.
Speaking of luxurious, refillable packaging, seems to be having a major moment,
It is.
even in the high-end market.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And luxury brands are jumping on board.
Yeah.
Take Ralph Lauren fragrances, for example.
Okay.
In April, they launched a line featuring stunning refillable bottles,
Beautiful.
crafted from recycled glass.
Nice.
This challenges the notion that refills are somehow less luxurious.
It really elevates the whole concept.
Mhm.
It's not just about reducing waste, it's about owning a beautiful, durable object that
Yeah.
you refill, much like a cherished fountain pen or a vintage perfume bottle. Do you think this could be the future of fragrance?
I think it has incredible potential.
Yeah.
Imagine a world where owning a meticulously crafted fragrance bottle becomes a tradition, a statement piece on your vanity that you refill over the years.
Right.
It speaks to a desire for quality, longevity, and a more mindful approach to consumption.
Totally.
All values that resonate with today's consumer, especially in the luxury segment.
It feels like a return to a more considered approach to beauty. Instead of accumulating countless bottles, you have a select few that you treasure.
All right.
But refills aren't the only game changers out there. You mentioned naked beauty earlier. What's that all about? Naked beauty, it does sound a little scandalous.
Yeah.
But seriously, products with zero waste packaging.
Yeah.
That's a bold move. What are some of the innovations you've come across?
There are some truly radical concepts emerging. One that caught my eyes from Lush,
Okay.
a brand known for its commitment to minimizing packaging.
Lush is great for that sort of thing.
They are.
Yeah.
Earlier this year, they launched a package-free mascara.
So how does package-free mascara even work?
It's essentially a solid block of mascara that you apply with a reusable brush.
Interesting.
No plastic tube, no waste. This completely reimagines the product life cycle and pushes the boundaries of what we consider normal for something as ubiquitous as mascara.
Okay, that's innovative and a little messy sounding. But what about practicality? Are there drawbacks to this minimalist approach?
That's the big question with any disruptive innovation.
Right.
While the concept is fantastic, there are practical considerations.
Yeah.
For example, how do you prevent the mascara from drying out? How do you ensure hygienic application? And perhaps most importantly, will consumers embrace such a radical departure from the norm? These are all questions brands need to address.
It's a balancing act, finding that sweet spot between sustainability and consumer expectations. It reminds me of Soka Bottle, the startup creating bottles made entirely of soap.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned them earlier.
Right.
What a concept. Use up the product, then the bottle becomes your soap.
I know.
Genius.
It is a brilliant idea. Talk about closing the loop on packaging waste.
For sure.
However, even the most ingenious concepts face real-world hurdles.
Right.
Imagine traveling with a soap bottle or dealing with a soggy mess in your shower caddy.
Okay, yeah, I hadn't thought about that. So maybe not for travel-sized toiletries just yet. But it seems like brands are getting creative with sustainable solutions, from sourcing unique materials to rethinking the entire packaging concept. But some brands are striving for something even more ambitious, going beyond less bad to achieve a positive impact: carbon negative beauty. What does that even mean in a practical sense?
So carbon negative means that a product actually removes more carbon dioxide from the atmosphere than it generates
Wow.
throughout its entire life cycle.
Huh.
Ingredient sourcing and production to packaging and transportation.
It sounds like the holy grail of sustainable beauty.
Yeah.
But is it even achievable on a larger scale?
It is achievable, and some brands are already leading the way.
Great.
Take BYBI, a skincare brand that launched a carbon-negative cleanser in 2022. They meticulously analyzed every stage of their production process to minimize their carbon footprint.
So how did they do it? What makes this cleanser so unique?
For starters, they made a radical choice in packaging, opting for sugarcane-derived materials.
Okay.
Sugarcane, as it grows, absorbs CO2, effectively making the packaging carbon negative from the outset.
Oh, wow.
They then doubled down on their commitment by ensuring their manufacturing processes run on 100% green energy.
Amazing.
It's a fantastic example of a brand putting in the work to walk the talk on sustainability.
It's inspiring to see a brand make that level of commitment. This brings up an important question. How does this global shift towards sustainable beauty look different across the world? We were talking earlier about how regions like China and South Korea are approaching it through their own cultural lens. Can you elaborate on that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The concept of clean beauty is a prime example.
Okay.
In China, clean beauty goes beyond just eco-friendliness.
Right.
It represents a holistic approach to well-being, emphasizing ingredient safety transparency and a connection between personal health and environmental health.
Right.
This is driven in part by concerns about pollution and counterfeit products, pushing consumers to seek out brands that prioritize both personal and planetary wellness.
So it's like they're saying, what I put on my body is just as important as the impact it has on the planet.
Exactly.
Yeah. What about South Korea? They are global beauty trendsetters, but their skincare routines tend to be quite elaborate. How do they reconcile that with sustainable practices?
That's a great point. South Korea presents a fascinating case study. While sustainability is gaining traction, there's a strong emphasis on achieving a specific, often elaborate beauty standard.
Right.
This creates a unique tension.
So how are they balancing this desire for elaborate skincare routines with the increasing awareness of sustainability?
We're seeing a gradual shift in consumer behavior.
Okay.
While Korean beauty enthusiasts are not necessarily abandoning their 10-step routines, they're increasingly demanding more sustainable options within those routines.
Right.
They want products with clean ingredients, ethically sourced and packaged in eco-friendly materials. Refillable options for their favorite products are also gaining popularity.
It sounds like they are finding ways to align their beauty rituals with their values.
Totally.
It's not about sacrificing their routines, but rather about making more mindful choices. Which brings us back to the driving force behind this entire movement, the consumers. Who are the key demographics pushing for these changes? Is it just Gen Z leading the charge, as they often seem to do?
Gen Z is definitely a powerful force in this movement. They're vocal, they're engaged, and they're about to become the generation with the most spending power.
Right.
Brands know that if they want to stay relevant, they need to cater to this eco-conscious mindset.
Yeah. It's like they can sniff out inauthenticity a mile away.
For sure.
They want to see real action, not just clever marketing.
Exactly. And that brings us to the fascinating world of influencer marketing. It might seem like old news.
Right.
But brands are getting smarter about how they collaborate with influencers,
Okay.
particularly regarding sustainability. It's no longer enough to just have a celebrity slap their name on a product.
Right, especially in the age of TikTok, where trends can go viral overnight.
Totally.
And authenticity is prized above all else. We've seen how social media can make or break a brand's reputation
Oh, absolutely.
when it comes to sustainability.
Social media is a double-edged sword. It can amplify trends and create demand for more sustainable options, but it also holds brands accountable
For sure.
for their claims. Consumers can easily call out greenwashing or inconsistencies, forcing brands to be more transparent and authentic in their sustainability efforts.
It's fascinating how consumer demand, amplified by social media, can be such a powerful driver of change
Huge.
within an industry as image conscious as beauty.
Yeah.
It's not just about what's in the bottle anymore,
Yeah.
but the values a brand represents.
Absolutely. And speaking of evolving values, we've seen a significant shift in the men's beauty market, where sustainability is playing a key role in reshaping perceptions of masculinity.
Right. We've got articles here about how masculinity is being redefined.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see how sustainable options are becoming part of that conversation.
Yeah.
It's no longer taboo for men to care about their skin and the environment.
It's incredibly encouraging.
Yeah.
And social media has been instrumental in normalizing these behaviors. Men are seeing their favorite athletes and celebrities openly discuss their skincare routines and advocate for sustainable brands, making it more acceptable and even aspirational.
It's a wonderful example of how these trends can intersect and influence each other. So as sustainable beauty evolves, do you think it will eventually cease to be a niche within the market and just become, well, how the beauty industry operates?
I think based on everything we've explored today, I believe that's the direction we're heading towards. Sustainability won't be a unique selling point,
Right.
but the expectation.
So the future of beauty is ethical, transparent, and dare I say it, the only option.
I think inevitable is the word you're looking for.
Okay.
And that's a very good thing, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. So as consumers become more aware and empowered and brands are held accountable for their impact, what's the most important message we can leave our listener with today? What can they do right now to contribute to this positive shift?
It's simple.
Mm.
Stay curious, ask questions, and support brands that align with your values.
Okay.
Every purchase is a vote for the kind of future you want to see.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Until next time, keep it sustainable, keep it beautiful, and keep on diving deep.